Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our first mail class for this channel. Today we go to learn HTML. First thing where I want you to know na say HTML a very sweet language to learn. HTML simple die, but as it takes simple reach, na he also dey important reach. With that HTML, all of these websites where you dey see around, e no fit work. Cause na HTML we take the build website to structure our website so that the browser go fit know how to display everything where you dey see. A family of HTML that hypertext markup language. And to learn am for this tutorial, you go need two things. The first thing wey you go need na browser. Me, I go dey use Chrome browser. And the second thing wey you go need na code editor. The most popular editor wey most programmers dey use na VS Code. So I go like make you download both Chrome browser and VS Code. Of course, if you not get any of these things, even if you not get laptop, you fit still watch this video. Learn the basics of a few things, but I go advise say me you immediately try to get laptop and get this thing so that you go fit practice, because without practice, you know fit become better programmer. Now I go assume say you don't get all these things and we go start. The first thing we will do now say we will create the folder where we want build our website in. Any web development project where you want to do go begin with you creating the right folder. And the kind folders when you dey create depend on the framework when you dey take create your website. Now, most programmers now React that they create their front end of their website. But before you go fit learn React, you go first learn HTML, CSS, and normal JavaScript, wey we dey call vanilla JavaScript. So because we know they use React today, we go just create our folder by ourselves. Me, I go call them lesson website. Inside our lesson website folder, we go on start to create the files we go use for our website. The first file we will create la index.html file. This index.html, you just write down in small letters and you must end them with this .html. Both these things are very important because once you host your site, now this index.html file, now in the browser will they look for to launch for your website. So you know my if you don't write all this kind of beautiful code, you don't write all this kind of beautiful websites. If you don't get this index.html file, or if you go name on something else, the website no go work because the browser no go fit launch up. All these kinds of small rules and standards, they're very important for programming. Because programming na about standard, na about rules we say everybody can follow. And if everybody follow that rule, everything will work well. But if you not follow this rule, your program no will work well. By the way, this our website folder. You fit create them anywhere for your computer. Once you don't create them and open them for Visual Studio Code, any file where you dey create inside go dey show for your computer as well. This say as I create this index.html file, it show for Visual Studio Code and it will show if I go use normal File Explorer for Windows. Now we don't get our index.html file, we fit start to the build. To build websites, the first thing when you go do, let's say you go open the HTML element. Now like this with the door. Anything when you see we get angle bracket like this, my element with a column for HTML. Inside this HTML element, now he on of our other elements could be. This one alone now with the column tagged, but if you add them together with the column elements. So this HTML tag, when you open a tag, when you close out with another tag, you don't for elements. And the first one now opening tag, while the second one now closing tag. Now inside this HTML element, now two things we they always put. The first thing my head element. This head, now when we dey store data about our website, we will say people no go see for our browser, but the browser will see am. Why the browser got here? To understand important information when he need to do some things, but the people where they use the website no really need. To create the head elements, we will go through the same step. Now, you feel write these things full by yourself, like this. Or if you just use VS Code shortcut. We go make your life dey easier. To use the VS Code shortcut, all you need to do now to add and press Tab T. It will help you fill am by itself. After the add element where I tell you say now only the browser go see, the second one wey we get na the body element. Now inside this body element, all of our main code for the website where people dey see go dey. For now, we will just open this body element, leave am. Inside this add element now, we go open another element wey we dey call the title element. Now here we go enter the title of our website. Again, na only the browser go see this information. Our people wey dey browse our website no go see am. One other thing wey I gats tell you na say your own Visual Studio Code fit no dey behave like my own because say I get some extensions for my VS Code wey dey do some things for me, including formatting this code. So if you want make your own too dey format for you, wetin you go do na say you go go add extension. You go click this extension page and you go add the extension wey dem dey call Prettier. Now this extension go dey help you format your code instead of for you to the formatter yourself. Another extension wey you will need na Live Server. This Live Server extension go make sure say as you direct your HTML code, once you save am, you go fit see am for your browser. I will show you later how to set this one up, but for now, make we continue with our lesson. Now inside our body element, we go add two new elements. The first one na H1. This H1 stand for heading 1. It means say na the biggest size of heading wey we get for HTML be that. Again, to write your tags and elements, you go open angle bracket, write H1, then close up. Then you go write another H1, but this time you go add / before. Now how we take they do opening and closing tag for HTML be that. The second element we go open for our body element na the P element. This P element now, paragraph is stand for. You don't need say you dey write normal text as normal paragraph for your website. Again, you go write down the same way we will write the opening and closing tags for our other elements. Now our website don't dey ready for us to see for inside our browser. Remember that extension that I say you go download, Live Server. Na him will dey show us our website and you go dey update am every time we save our project. So what you go do now say once you save this file with Ctrl S, you go right click and then you will choose open with Live Server. You go automatically open your default browser and you will see your website. Now, if you look on top, you will see the title of our website. I tell you say this title now inside the head it will be because we know will show for our main browser, but people go dey fit see am for the tab. Now, the things will you put inside our body, big H1 and the paragraph, now you dey see for here. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I will introduce you to CSS small. Now, CSS now another thing on its own way we go learn for another video, but today, I won't make we do small CSS to just change this page small. CSS na cascading style shakes. Now, what will they take the use style our website? And they see with this HTML, we fit use them do the structure of our website, do the title, again, and other things. But it no go fine. It go just be like we write normal text. To make them fine, to give them armor, to give them shape, to give them animation, and to beautify them, na CSS we dey use. CSS they very bulky on its own. So I no go explain them for now so that I no go waste our time. I will just paste this code to simply change the font and the background of our page. You not just worry about this one now. I go dey release full CSS videos. We go show you how to do all of these styles and more like a pro. Now, may we continue with our HTML. Even at this point for our tutorial, you could only notice say most things we you go do with HTML now about all these tags and elements. So basically, you're going to need to learn as many tags and elements as possible and waiting these tags and elements they do. Now, we don't learn about our HTML tag. We don't learn about our edge and body. We don't learn about H1 and paragraph. Another one we need now meta. This meta may we dey put for under our edge we dey use am dey specify some kind attributes about the website. Again, I tell you say everything wey dey under head, the viewers no go see am for browser. Na just your way of communicating with the computer and giving am some information. This meta now, we dey use am dey give specific information about your web page to the browsers, but not to the users. Plenty information dey wey you fit store inside meta, but one of the most common na wetin we dey call character set. You will use meta char set UTF-8 as I do am for this page. Another thing wey you go learn for HTML apart from tags and elements na attributes. Attributes dey different from elements, but they dey work together. Every element fit take in attributes. Attributes na say you dey give specific characteristics and properties to your element. Most of the times, we dey use am different shapes from other elements, and most of the time, we dey also dey use am give information. I will dey tell you more about attributes later, but for now, I will add these language attributes to our HTML file. This one too, we dey use am show the browser say, okay, na the language wey we dey operate in be this. Again, this one no be for your readers, na so that the browser go understand more about your website and more about how to efficiently serve am to your users, and sometimes even help them translate am. Lastly, another thing wey I wan put up before we move on to the next section na doc type. I tell you say to start your website, you will start with the HTML. But true, before you even write HTML, you need to declare the doc type. Now, like so, will you do am? This one too, no be for your users, na just to give more information about this specific document. Say, oh, the type of this document na HTML. Now, all of these things, including tags, attributes, properties, I go still dey explain more. So no more why if you never understand by my way. Just focus on the elements and the tags wey we dey discuss for now. As I dey introduce you to more elements and tags, you will dey understand more of these attributes and properties. The next thing wey we go look at na more meta tags. I think you say these meta tags, we take am dey add information to our website. So now I will tell you other information wey you fit add using meta. The first one na name and content. This name and content, we dey use am dey tell our browser certain information. If it be early information wey you want, now you go decide. But you go use the name, set the name of the information wey you gon give, and you go use the content, set the exact information itself. For instance, if I wan tell her the creator of this website, I fit say name equal to creator and content equal to code switch Kenji. If I wan tell am wetin the page dey about, I fit say name equal to about and content equal to describe some things wey the website wan do. Again, the people wey dey view your website no go see these ones. Na only the browser go use am understand more about your page. Another reasons why we dey do am na say search engine like Google and Bing, they use this information to understand your website more so that they go fit rank you and send visitors to your website. So if you dey work as web developer now, you dey build websites for your clients. Your clients go want to make their website dey on Google. And if you figure out and say, okay, I know the optimizations wey I go do, we go make your website dey rank for Google. Now, another reason why they go want work with you and employ you be that. Moving on to the next tag wey we dey add under this head. This one na link. Link na wetin we dey use reference other files and pages. For instance, remember the CSS code wey I paste under this head back then. Usually the CSS code wey go dey your page go long. You go too long to just put am on top this page. You know, go make your code very readable. So wetin we dey do na say we go create another file, .css file. Then we go all use this link reference that file so that as the browser they open this index.html file, you go use this link, follow am to our CSS page, and there he will apply all the styles on top this HTML page. They also use link reference JavaScript code, because even though you feel write your JavaScript code on top this HTML page, again, it go dey too long and you no go make your code dey readable. So we dey write them for another page, then go all use this link reference that page. And like this, we dey do am. Another thing wey you fit use link do na to add logo to your page. This logo now it go show for the tab of your website. Now this code you will use. You see say after we use the link, we add other attributes. The first attribute na rel, na how this thing dey related to your page. So you will tell the computer say okay, the rel na say na logo. Then you will add this href. Now this href will take dey tell her the exact location of the material or the page wey you dey reference. This href for our logo now na the picture wey we don add to our folder. If you dey reference anything for your HTML file or even any code wey you be write when you start to dey write JavaScript and React, you gats make sure say e dey under the right folder. So this logo now, I don copy am from the internet. I go add am under my folder. Then I go come use this rel to specify the link to where this page dey. Na like this I do am. You see say everything must be correct. The name of this file .png. If na jpg, e gat be jpg. If anything dey wrong, this browser no go fit find out. And you see say when we reference our CSS page too, we make sure say this main.css wey we take store that file na in with the reference. If you got make mistake write main or main, you no go work. You just write the exact main of the file. Another thing wey I gats tell you na say all these things like link, rel, and the pin here dey dey our head file, e dey good to know all because they fit ask you for interview and you fit need to change some stuff for yourself. But I go dey honest with you. If you start the code and start to dey work with real framework like React, Svelte, and Angular, you know what they need to write all these things yourself. All of these tools like Visual Studio Code and other AI tools go dey wey go help you write them sharp sharp. So you no need to really cram anything for now, but they fit ask you for interview. And even if they not ask you, e dey good to know all these basic things as na wetin go separate you from other programmers be that. Now, may we go our website to see if it still dey work. You see say everything still dey work normally even after we move our CSS to another page. For this text session, I go show you some of the ways wey you fit use HTML add text content to your website. Obviously, you no fit get any website without having text on the page. Na im we dey take dey pass information to our viewers or even teach them how to use the website. So knowing how to write text for HTML na very important thing. We don already examine two text elements, which is the H1 element and the paragraph element. But if you don't use Microsoft Word or any other word editor before, you will not say H1 no be the only heading wey we get. H1 na the biggest main element for any page. It just be like headline for newspaper. Na in we dey take dey pass across maybe the title or the main message of our website. Most websites they get only one H1 to show the focal point of the website. Then they go come get other H2 elements to show some other headings wey be say they dey more important than H3 and H3 dey more important than H4. Usually after H4, anything wey you go write na paragraph wey we dey write with the P tag. This structure of H1, H2, and paragraph dey very important, not only for your readers, but also for the browser and for wetin we dey call screen readers. Screen readers na wetin people dey use to assist them to read wetin dey on your page. So if you dey look say okay, if people dey look am, they go fit tell. But if all these screen readers and applications they look am, them no be humans. So they go need you to structure am appropriately for them to be able to understand how your website dey. So after we use H1 and H2 and paragraph, another thing we need now to structure everything the right way. We go do quick exercise for this part of the lesson to show you. Which I go first do now say I go add new H2 for this place. Then I go come copy this H2 and this paragraph. I go add them down. To copy one line and add them down for VS Code, you go use Alt Shift and down arrow. You go press Shift Alt and this down arrow at the same time, you go help you copy anything with the one line to the next line. So you go fit easily just edit them and duplicate them. All of these small shortcuts for VS Code, they're very important to make sure say your coding will be faster. Now, after we add this H2 and paragraph, I go add another H3. One of these things they do like to show you the difference between these elements, but we go also use them later. So don't they follow along and they code them as I decode them. Now we go add this new H3 and another paragraph. More we save our work and see them for the browser. You see say for the browser, you they see the difference between this H1, H2, and H3 and the paragraph. Now because say even the browser understand the different default size between H1, H2, and H3. But when you start to build your real website and you start to write CSS, all these default size with this browser they help you apply. It no go matter because you go style your H1 and H2 by yourself. In fact, for CSS, you fit use and make paragraph they big or small. You fit do anything with CSS, but even though you fit use your CSS change the sizes of your H1, H2, and paragraph, it's still there important for you to use the right headings so that screen readers, bots, browsers, and SEO crawlers go fit know the hierarchy of your website. Now, may we move on to this new section. This new thing where I want to introduce to you now, what we they call HR, horizontal rule. Now, horizontal rule will take the add lines between sections for HTML. Again, for CSS, you go fit do this one with different kind of style. But for now, for our HTML class, we go use this HR. So just add HR to the first section to differentiate between your headings and your first section. Then we go add another HR to differentiate between the first and the second section. I will just copy this one now. Bring her, come down. One thing where I want to you know, I say HTML no they recognize white space. What it be white space? White space, all this space where they leave for our program. Let's say I press enter now. I press enter. I press enter. I press enter. You see that space don't there for my program. If you go to website, you feel expect say me all this space they there too, but it no go there because HTML they automatically remove this white space. Even VS Code where they use as my code editor. If I press save now, you will see say it will help me remove all of these white space because of the formatter and because the HTML no they honor this white space. So if you want add this space or if you want move to new line for your HTML code, not be enter, you go use DOM, not be this kind of space, you go use DOM. One thing where you feel use now BR elements. These BR elements now with a column line break. Now you go use separate one line from another. And it is important to know say this BR, you see say you know get opening and closing tab. You know just write opening BR and then closer with name BR. No, not just one tag BR, and it will help you add the break. Again, you should say after we add this BR, everything still be under the paragraph tag. All these sentences where I dey write now must still under paragraph a day. No be say we dey add another line or another element. This BR na inside the paragraph. I go to tell you the difference between what we dey call block level elements and inline elements, which is another thing where you must know for HTML. So what is the block level elements? Block level elements like elements where they occupy their own block. By occupy their own block, I mean say they dig on their own line. For instance, all of these tags and elements where we don't they use, all of them are block elements because see this heading, you dig your own line. See this paragraph, you dig your own line. If you add another paragraph inside this paragraph tag, you know go stay inside that line, it will create its own line. Now why would they call them block level elements with that? Because they occupy their own blocks. The opposite of block level elements la inline elements. Inline elements no dey form their own block. They know they return, like say you press enter, if they start new line for Microsoft Word or Docs. They be inside the block where you add them because they don't get the ability to form their own block. That the difference between block and inline element. With that one inline element really go look the emphasis. We dey write them as EM. And you dey write them inside an existing block. Because again, there no be block level element on yourself. But if you use that modify text where you don't write inside one block. For instance, inside this paragraph element. Let's say I want highlight one word. I go use this emphasis, wrap them around the word where I want emphasize, and it go change down inside the block. No be say it go create new block. Another inline element now strong. This strong element might just like emphasis element. But instead of to the emphasize on like this, it go make them very, very strong. Now, I know say you don't understand the difference between inline and block level elements. You say, don't they go far for HTML? See our website. See where you do. You don't they make sense. By the time we will finish this course, because we say we don't make websites will say you don't do all right. Then we go come move on to our CSS. We will go use beautify the website. The next thing we will go take a look at now what we they call HTML entities. What will be HTML entities? HTML entities now code we will feel use for our HTML to achieve some symbols where we say you must be used naturally for the code. Maybe because it clashes with normal symbol we will use for other things for HTML, or because we they make a more compact. One thing where we they use to write HTML entities like ampersand. So if you see anything for your HTML code which starts with ampersand, you go know say that HTML entities with that. One common example of HTML entity now less than and greater than sign. Now, you know say for our HTML code, to write any tag and any element, we go first open the tag with less than, write the element like P or H1, close them with greater than. Then we go do the same thing for our closing time. So if you want to write normal, greater than and less than, the program could think say would you try open tag and create element. So to really write ordinary greater than and less than for our code, we go use HTML entity will be and LT for less than and GT for greater than. Another one now NVSP, we they call no breaking space. No breaking space, like we take the add space between the same line. Remember, say I tell you say which you add space normally for your HTML code. The editor way they use like VS Code will help you for my time. It go remove the space, and even the HTML and the browser no they recognize spaces, so they know will recognize your space. But if you really want add space between words on the same line, you go use this entity will be and NBSP. Again, you will close them with semicolon as we they close all entities. So if you write and NBSP semicolon, you mean say you the add no breaking space. May I add them to some of these paragraphs where we don't get? May I can show you for our browser. I go add 1 MBSP to this line. I will add 2 MBSP to this line, and I will add 3 MBSP to this line. Now, make me go check them for our browser. You should say the spaces don't there. But if I just press normal space to add these spaces, it no go work because HTML no they recognize white space. So to add white space, we will use this HTML entity and NBSP semicolon. May I use less than and greater than for our footer? May I tell you how you take use and write simple copyright attribution for your website. Now I go scroll down. I go add and LT, then I go add another entity we would call and copy. This and copy now to add copyright symbol. Then I will write the name. You feel write the name of your own website, or if you write your own name, anything we want take use do the copyright, you go write them for you. Then we'll call close on with greater than. and GT. After this one now, the next thing we will take a look at na other common tags wey be say you fit use to add some context to your HTML code. The first one na application. You go rate am like say you dey open normal tag, less than ABBR, close the tag with greater than. Then another less than ABBR, close the tag with the forward slash. Now, if you get any word for your page wey be abbreviation, like this word wey I use for here, you fit use this ABBR to provide context as to the full meaning of this abbreviation. How you go do am na say you go add title attributes after this ABBR. Remember attributes wey I tell you, like the language attribute, lang attribute wey we use for our HTML tag. You will add attribute for the opening ABBR tag wey be title. Na here you go specify the full meaning of this abbreviation. Now, may I show you another one wey we dey call address. This address na im we dey take dey indicate say wetin we dey write for here na address. Why we gats use this address na because say, first of all, it go help us format our address differently. Again, you fit change the default format with CSS, but to show screen readers and ports and to give the website more context as to wetin dey your page, you good to use the right tags. For instance, this address now, I feel like that this paragraph tag and you will work, but the browser and you bought the computer no go get context as to wetin this part of the website dey about. And mainly is where e good for your browser to understand wetin dey your page. Now say e go help you serve your users better. E go help you make your SEO better. And it will help you make some optimizations wey they don configure the browser to make. It will help you do am better. But if you no show am say na address, you no go do am the right way. Now, may we move on to comment. I wan show you how you fit take write comment for your programs. Why we gats write comments for our program? You see, as programmers, any code wey you go write, e good to dey give am the proper comment and not only dey write comment everywhere like say you just discover a new toy. But for important places, e good to dey leave comment say, okay, na wetin I dey try achieve be this. Na wetin this line of code dey do be this. Or na wetin I gats add in the future be this. First of all, e go help you yourself understand your code the next time. You fit think say, na me write this code, I go understand that if I open this file again. But trust me, if you dey do plenty things and you leave the code for a long time and you can't come back, even Olubse na lead yourself right, you go confuse you say, who write this kind of code? But if you leave the right comments for the right places, you go fit understand later. And then another thing, if you dey work as a programmer, you no go dey work alone. Now, if you dey work as part of a team, e good to dey write the correct comment for your code so that other people for your team or other developers wey will work on the same code in the future go fit know wetin this person dey try do for here. Na how we take dey add comment for HTML be this. And this comment now, even though e dey inside your index.html file or any other file, the computer go see am, but the people wey dey browse your site no go see am. And the developers wey dey open this file directly go see am. You fit also check the comments and the entire source code of your HTML page for your browser. For Chrome, you go right click, then you go click inspect. This one will show you your HTML source code. You fit also click Ctrl U. You fit do this thing for any website. Just open the website, type Ctrl U or inspect, and you go see the source code of the website. But when you do this one, no overglam because some of these websites dey very complex. If it dey make you dey discouraged, no dey discouraged. Some of the codes wey you go see for this inspection, not be even code wey be say the developers themselves right. For instance, for this our code now, you go see say live server, the tool wey we dey use, they make this code go live for our browser. E dey show us some code, some JavaScript code for here. If you dey use React framework or TypeScript or any other libraries and framework wey you go dey use, no loss too go dey insert code inside your program. For the next chapter, we go enter list concepts for HTML. How we fit take make lists and what you fit do with these lists. it did important to learn lists for HTML because nowadays it did almost impossible to build websites and not have lists. Most websites go list the services wey dem dey offer to their customers. Some go list the testimonial wey they get. Some go list the benefits wey people fit get from their website. And even if you dey get your personal website wey you dey use for your CV, you fit list your achievements, the qualifications and skills wey you get and other things. Now for HTML, e get specific way wey we take dey write lists, and e get different kind of lists wey dey. Generally, na 3 different kind of lists you go dey write for your website. The first one na ordered list, the second one na unordered list, and the third one na description list. Ordered list na as the name take sound, e dey in order. Unordered list na wetin e be list wey be say e no necessarily dey ordered. That is, the order wey you take write am no really matter. For instance, if you dey write something wey get 1, 2, 3, na ordered list be that. But if you dey write something wey e no necessarily get 1, 2, 3, you fit just write am with bullet point, na unordered list be that. Now, before I continue, make I collapse this head section of our website because we wan focus on the body just now. So I go kick this head to make everything disappear. Now, you go see by the number say we no delete am o, we just collapse am. You go see dey our website and you go see dey this page. If you wan open am again, all you need to do na to click this peg. Now, I will show you how to create list for HTML. This schedule and plan wey we write for here, I go turn them into list. Now, you see what I do for here now. To write list, especially ordered list, what I do for you. The first thing wey you go do, let's say you go open this OL tag and you go close up. OL needs ordered list. After you get this OL open and closing tab, inside you go open another list, but this one you could just use normal LI as list. So the first way you do now, say you specify, say all these lists where I want write inside this tag now ordered list. Then you go proceed to write the actual list where you want write. The actual list where you want write, we write that as LI. You feel like as many LI where you want, but all of them must be inside another tag, will be OL or UL. Now, I will write another one, will go show us UL. Of course, UL now unordered lists. For unordered list, we go modify this our second section. This is the same thing we do with the ordered list, but the only difference must say on our NI, that's on our list element, we place them inside UL, whereas for our ordered list, we place her inside OL. Also, you go notice saying we still put our P inside her. If you put your P tag inside the LI tag, nobody could stop you. In fact, it's good to do am to show say na paragraph dey inside your list with the color mesh thing. So we meshed our P tag or the piece element inside the list. You fit write am directly, but you also fit write am as paragraph listed inside the list. And if you see am for our website, our ordered list show numbers to show say the order big important, whereas our unordered list no show numbers to show say the order no really dey important as na unordered list. For the final part here, we go write wetin dem dey call description lists. As we dey write ordered list with OL and we dey write unordered list with UL, na DL we take the right description list. Now, the main difference between UL and OL and DL, let's say instead of just writing our LI list element inside the ON and the UL, if we dey deal with DL, we no go just write the LI element inside. Instead, we go write two things, DT element and DD element. The DT element na we dey call description tag. Description tag means here you dey describe wetin your list be about because na description list. The other horse UL and OL no be description list, so you no need to describe wetin the dey about. Usually you go don write wetin the dey about in one kind heading before you write your list, but if you dey use description list, that means say we wan give more context, more description as to wetin dey inside our list. Na why we dey use DL, DG and DT. So the DT wey be description tag, I go write am for here, and then immediately following the DT, I go write the description detail DD, like how we take the write lists, including unordered, ordered, and description list be this. Now, may we move on to the next section of our lesson, will be hypertext and hyperlink. Hypertext na wetin HTML be about. I tell you, the full meaning of HTML na hypertext markup language. The mean say we take the use this language to mark up our hypertext. But wetin the hypertext? Hypertext na just a way to link between separate parts of our text so that it go dey easier to navigate. HTML like the backbone of the web and the internet, because it dey allow us to move from various documents to another very easily. You fit move from one site to another very easily thanks to links or hyperlinks. My links, they make am possible. Say you go enter YouTube. From YouTube, you will click the link to another website. You go Google something, you will see the result, and you go click the link to enter into another website. And then from that website, you fit click the link to enter into another website. And the best part of hyperlinks, ma say, no be to move from one website to another alone. You fit move from one section of your page or your document to another using link. For this part of the lesson, I go show you how you go use hyperlinks to anchor text to move from, first of all, from your website to another external website. And then I will show you how you go use them to move from several sections inside your website. So you will avoid you scrolling, especially for websites. So be say the page take very long and what lay your users they find that easy to maneuver and move from one section to another. You go use links, but no be external link. You go use section links. I go tell you how to do all of these ones. Before we move forward, make I tell you, say, this link tag we will use up here. You remember this link tag when you use up here. No be il be hyperlink, so no be il be anchor links where we take the move from one page to another, or from one website to another, or from one section to another. No, this link tag here, we take can be reference files like our CSS and JavaScript, or resources like our five icon, or even fonts we want use on top our page. But we know the user they link out to other websites or other sections for our page. But no worry, now I will show you how to do the proper linking between websites and sections for your website. First, make I add another paragraph for here where I go use link out to another website. Then for this part of our text, for the main part, that is the words will we want make you link out to another page, add the anchor tag. The anchor tag na just a, so like as they open normal tag for this failure, you will open the first opening tag a and then closer with forward slash another a. Then in the middle, man, you will add your anchor text. That is the words or the sentence where you want me people fit key it for your website to go somewhere else. Now, this A alone on itself no be the link. You just the indicate say link go there here. How you will take add the link? Like you go use href attributes. We don't use that before, and we don't talk about attributes before. So we go use this href. Now inside the inverted commas, now here we go write the URL of where we want link to. Now, one thing we you guys know about URL, and I say we get different types. This one will be put now. I go carry on from Mozilla Developer Network. Mozilla Developer Network na organization wey dey maintain web standards. When it comes to web development programming languages like this HTML and CSS, and this organization dey try make sure say everybody follow the same standards so that we go fit achieve the best results. Now, I go link this page from Mozilla Developer Network so that if we call our site after we save this file, we go see say this anchor text don dey show link and the color don change to indicate to our viewers say this link na clickable link and they fit cater to go somewhere else. Now, this particular kind of link will we use for here. Now, wetin we dey call absolute link or absolute path or absolute address. We dey only use absolute address for external pages. Now, nobody will arrest you if you use am for your internal pages. That's pages with the in your own website on your own server. But no be good practice because you no need am. Instead of using absolute path and absolute address for pages with the inside your own website, you go use wetin you dey call relative path. To do relative path, you go just specify the folder with that file or that page dey for your website. Remember, as we specify the folder with our logo, we will use as our fav icon dey for this link path. Now, the same approach you go use to link specific files and folders for your page. In fact, once you start the write JavaScript code, you go see say you go dey link and reference several other pages for inside your website, and you go dey use relative path. To use relative path, if the file wey you dey reference dey inside the same folder as the file from where you dey reference app. That is, say this index.html file now. If the file wey you wan reference dey inside this same folder, all we need to do na to use the name of the file dot the type of the file as our href. E go find that. But if e dey inside another folder, then we go first write that folder slash the name of the file dot the file type. Now, if the folder with this one dey inside be back, that is, like the parent of the folder where our file where we do reference something from big inside. That means say we go first put dot slash to tell the computer to first go back to another folder where they before this folder where we begin. Then we will write forward slash the folder where the thing where we the reference dey inside. Then forward slash the name of the file dot the file type. No worry if all of these things they computed for you. Now normal thing in the beginning, but these things don't add at all. In fact, very soon now you go direct them like say now number, because you go write a lot, and the more you write, the more it will do second nature for you. Now, to write the relative path of one page will dey for our website, we go dey for the same server as this our index.html page. We go need to create another page. For this one now, I go create about page. I go scroll down, go where we write our copyright, and I will make this name, that is the name of the creator of this website or the name of the company, any name will be say you write for your copyright. You fit make some anchor text. We go link to your about page. Now wait, I will do now. Now to do this one, you go first add anchor tag like I tell you. Now this anchor tag like just a, and then inside you go write the href. Now this new page we will create for our site, I will call her about.html. And remember, I tell you say since it go dey the same folder as this our index.html file, we no need add any forward slash. We go just write the name of the document, the file we will dey link to, which is this about.html file. Now I will create this file now under the same folder. Now we don't create the new file, and inside this we won't write our about page. This new document na still HTML, so we go do the same things we do for our index.html. For HTML, the home page usually na index.html. I tell you say na there be the first page where your browser go, but the other pages too na still HTML pages. So we go need to follow the same rule we follow when we dey create our index.html file. Now, I see this one as opportunity for you to test your skills in creating new HTML page. So remember everything what I tell you what we do in the beginning of this course. I won't be you do for this page too. I will give you 30 seconds to try out. So make sure say you pause this video, do and then continue. Okay, now if you get them, congratulations. If you don't get them, no worry, no problem. You still dey learn. Now, make I clap. Usually the best thing for you na to write them from scratch because you still dey learn. But to make sure say we no waste time, me I will just paste them from our other page. Then I will make some corrections. First thing way I go do, I say I go change this mail and description to reflect the new page we will create. Then I will change the title, I will change the heading, and I will delete everything else we get for the other page except this HR horizontal rule. Then I will add one more paragraph. For this paragraph now you go write the story of your life. But for tutorial purpose, we no go write any story. I will just use wetin they call Laurel. I go press lorem times 1, which means say the computer go give me one paragraph of lorem. If you want lorem times 2, it's still fit. But remember, la VS Code, they help you type this lorem. Lorem la wetin publishers and newspapers to use back in the days to print placeholder text for their page. Placeholder na text we say we just they put for there to see how the page go look. Look say like the main text we won't use. We just they use this one, hold the place for our incoming text. So now make we click this link and it was say it will carry us go our about page. So like this every page where you dey see for any website where you go, and it you dey. Now just files, HTML files or sections for your website. We say they don't add the URL or the relative path to the href of that place where you dey click. So mod sites they include this HTML page inside other programming languages like JavaScript or PHP, and framework like React. They help you to we say you fit add all your page inside one single page, but everything you got specify the href of the place web say if your users click up, you go carry them go. Now to show you how we fit create link to our page, that is to the same page but different section, we go add internal reference. To do I guess arrange our website to look like a pro. Every website where you see, they always get sections. For instance, some you will see the menu sections where they contain the navigation. Then you will see the main headline section, and then if you see, let's say, services section, pricing, blog posts, reviews, testimonial, and all those ones. So we go arrange our website too. Then we organize them into sections. We go use the HTML semantic element who they call section. This section, like any elementary you receive, correct and the same way. Section could look like section with / as our closing tag. But unlike paragraph or list to say it gets specific way with the format tab for our browser. Section no really get any style or formatting. Now just about semantic. That is to give meaning to our page so that the computer feel understand say now section be this. The only two way we dey use for section na div. Div too na HTML element where we dey take dey divide our pages into section or to make new block so that we go fit use style with CSS. But if you get any place where you want divide as section, you no go need to use div because div no go tell your browser say this one na new section on your own. Div na like just general tag of anything we want divide into the own block. But section go say, okay, we dey divide them to your own block, but this particular block now one section of our website on its own. So now I go add sections to this place. Then I go add the ID attribute. You see, we get more than one section for our page. Most websites, they always get more than one section, that normal thing. But we need to be able to differentiate between each section to let the browser, first of all, know wetin each other section be about. And also, we fit add different styles to each section. So we fit add this ID attribute to show, say, that the name of this particular section be this. So you go write ID equal to, as we dey write normal attribute, and then as the main of the ID, you go write wetin the section dey for. Now, when we add our first section as our menu section, we will dey call navigation section. How we dey do navigation sections, that is the menu section, man, we go use the nav element again. Na just normal HTML element wey we dey pick dey specify say this part of our website la the navigation part. So we say, okay, these one are different section. In this section, we get our navigation. Then after you don't add this nav element inside that, we go call use unordered list to list out each name of our menu, each name of our navigation section, each menu wey dey under our nav. Then we go call add links to each menu. These links now no go link to another page. You fit make am link to another page if na like so your website dey. But because it is our website now, we want link to different section. Each part of this menu go link to each section of our website so that when we click am, it will just automatically take them to the section where they want go. See our first link now. We get our first section. Then we go add the anchor tag like Loma. Then we go add the href. Now, this href, to specify which section we want go, we go use the ID of that section. I tell you, they take ID to make a big unique, to give name to each of our section, so that we go fit style and we go fit tell the browser wetin e be about. Another use la to do internal linking, so that instead of writing the URL of what external website or external page, we go just use this ID as the URL of our section. My biz hashtag fembo we take the plow. So if you write hashtag the milk of our section inside a href, once be a kicker, you could carry them go at section. Let we try am. Okay, love, merely add our second section. You see, at the links they show, and you see say this link, we no really fit share am well. No worry, na just the default color of this. Now because say we dey use this background, e no show well. We go use CSS to change the colors later. So it no matter wetin the default one be. Most things for your website, you go fit change that with CSS once you learn. For this one now, maybe we just continue, make I add more link. Now, for that, I won't really add one more link. We go add paragraph, and inside our paragraph, we go add back to top. This back to top now, I want me we use am. It'll good look will be say it will carry our U1s of our website back to the top. So that if they don't scroll down, they're not going to need to scroll up again to go back to the top. Once they click this back to the top, it will just carry them go back up. To this one now, we go add anchor tag, and our anchor tag we go put just hash. Let's do for that other one, we put hash and the mail of our section. But for this one, no need to put any name of section. If you just add anchor tag and for the href, you use hash, it means say it could take you back to the top. Now, quickly, make I change the color of this link like I tell you say I could do. I will use this CSS changer, but look here, I tell you see we go still do CSS lesson. So I don't want to bother you too much with CSS. May it no go scatter your brain. As you see this one now, you will even feel understand some of the things we will do to beautify our websites with this CSS. For instance, now, you see say this one now, I dey use and they change the color of the link. Now this one, I dey use am be change the color after we don click the link. Now why he say visited? Because now once you click am, the browser go make you understand say this link they don already click am. Now why if you Google search something now and then you go back to that Google page, the color of the pages wey you don take before dey different. Just so to give you an understanding say, oh, you don click this one before. Now this here says star, we take between. And this one over, we take the change the color. If we put our mouse on top that is with the over our mouse on top and it don't be active. If you don't want bother with CSS, no wahala, just leave code this ones fast forward. But if you want, just write this same code where they write inside your own CSS file, learn.css as well. Once this tutorial come out in full, I will leave this entire code like right for here. I go leave one for my description so that you go fit download all of this code for GitHub and you go fit just copy this part, put that inside. Now, maybe go back to our about and add another link. We'll go enter our about.html where we create, which is the second file. Now, add HR and then under this HR, we go add on ordered list. This list, I want use and show you some other attributes and keywords we will fit add to our anchor tag. Now, the first one where I go show you na download. No, we just add this paragraph, tap, download my site logo. I want you to show you how to add link wey be say not be to open another page, but not to download. How you go down and say in front of this href, we go add the path to our file where we want make people download. I will just use this file where we don't get already. This one will we use for our icon. Because the file where you want people to download, you can specify the location. Now why you can't put this location and the name of the file. The name of the file at the location because it take inside the same folder like I tell you before. So once you write this mail and the file type in front of the href, you go come add the download keyword. Notice say this download keyword not be attribute because attribute like this href attribute, you go write that attribute equal to and then 2 quotes. But using this one no get equal to and no get 2 quotes. But just simple keyword to make our browser know say once they click this link, we want me to download this file we be inside this href. Another one where I want to show you now, mirror. So we go create another list. And for this one now, this href where I will put inside this anchor tag, I go use equal to mail2, then colon, then the email. Wetin this one go do now say once they click this link, no go open any website. He go open email application. We say the person don't set as their default for their browser, or if you even ask them to choose if they not get any default. So now this email application you go use and it go automatically add this email where you put as their recipient for their email. Then another one where I go show you now phone number. To add phone number, you go do it like this. You go use pel colon. Now this one when they click you know, go open any web page, it go open their phone call application. If they open them from computer, it go tell them to either choose a phone call application or to download. But if then they open them for their phone, it will just automatically take them to their phone call and it will automatically fill their phone call with this phone number where you put for here. Another one where I want to show you now, target equal to blank. This attribute line we dey take make sure say our website once they click the link, it go open that for another tab. Mama, when they click link, if you use just anchor tag and href, it go open that for the same tab. But sometimes, most times when you they link to other websites, I no want make people leave your website after they click the link. You could just make the link open for another website so that they go open that website too, but they go still dey your own website too. Finally, I go add this paragraph under our populate. This paragraph, I go add now back to go. I want use this one. Take them back to our own page. That is our index.html file when they click up. To do it, you feel use the name of the page, and you fit use absolute URL, but the best practice na to use just / as your href. The computers and all the browsers don know. Na the standard be that say any href will be just / na own be that. So he go take them to your own page. You don't know a lot about links, and for this part now, you don dey learn plenty things about HTML, but we still get some things to go. So the next one we will go do like how to add images for your HTML file and the different kinds of ways will you fit do this one. Images na important part of any website wey you dey build. I could tell you now say you no fit enter any website without seeing images. You know they possible because images na apart from communicating messages to our viewers, they also help them enjoy browsing our website. If you go website and the only thing wey dey there na just text, nobody go wan come back. So to learn HTML and web development, you need to know how to use images. Today now, I will show you how to add images to your website. First thing wey you go need to do na say you go download any image wey you wan use. Then you go add them inside specific folders for your project. For inside this our project now, I go create an image folder and I go add these two images wey we go use. You fit get your image from internet for places like Pexels, Pixabay, Unsplash, and Canva. Of course, if you slap your picture by yourself, you fit also use that one too. Then another thing wey you guys do na say you guys dey mindful of the size. So if your image too big, e go make your website load slower. And you no want make your website load slower because nobody go wan visit your website if e dey take 100 years to load. You fit resize your image before you add them to your project. You fit also use CSS, change the size. So we go talk about all these ones when we dey do CSS. Now, under this H2 and paragraph for my first section, I go add img tag. This img tag na the image tag. Na wetin we take dey add image for HTML be that. And you notice say this image, you no get opening and closing tag like the ones wey we dey use before. E get just one tag. Na why we dey call am self-closing tag. This / wey we put for here, you know dey necessary thanks to HTML5, which is the latest version of HTML. But if you use them, no wahala. If you no use them, no wahala. Now, after you add your ing tag, the next thing wey you go do now say you go add the right attributes. One of the attributes wey you go add na the name of the image. Na how the computer go take know say na the specific image wey you wan add for this ing tag be that. So you will use the relative path of the name of your folder and your image. So for this one now, I go write the name of our folder / the name of our image.png. Another attribute we go look at na alt attribute. This alt attribute na wetin we dey use give more information about our image. No be for our readers necessarily, na for screen readers and the browser itself to understand wetin dey our website. So if I use this img, I don't put the source and the alt. If we load them for our browser and for some reason the image no load, e go display the alt so that people go know wetin suppose dey there. E go also communicate to SEO crawlers, that is the application where Google they use to rank your website for search engine. You go use am tell them the kind image wey dey your page so that your image go fit show up for Google search. So now make I could change the file name of this image just to make sure say e no go work. You go see say once I change them now and I reload my website, e no go show the image, but it go still show this alt attribute. Another attribute I want make we use na title. This title now, I go change them to I am learning programming. Now, if you hover over your image, now this title go come out. Then another attribute wey you fit add na the width and the height attribute. I tell you say you fit later change this width and height with CSS, but e good to add wetin dey there already so that before you even change am, or if for some reason your CSS no dey work immediately, the computer go still know the width and the height of your image. You fit check the width and the height of your image for your VS Code, and you fit also check am for your File Explorer if you just click the details and the properties of your image. For this second section now, I will add our second image. Again, I go add the SRC, which is the relative path to tell the program where your image dey. Then I will add the alt. Then I will add the title and the width and height. One more attribute wey I want teach you na the loading attribute. These loading attributes get two properties. The first one na eager and the second one na lazy. So if you just write your loading attribute without adding any property, or if you use default, you no add any loading, that means say you go use the eager, because na the eager be the default behavior of the project of HTML. But if you want change am from eager to lazy, then you go lose this loading attribute and set am to lazy. Now, make I explain to you the main difference between eager and lazy. Eager loading means say once the viewers enter your website and the browser dey load your HTML file, you go load all the images immediately. Meanwhile, for lazy, e mean say any image wey no dey the part of the website where the readers dey view immediately. So let's say if they open your website, the first page where they go view before scrolling down, na only one image dey there. Na just that image na the browser go load. Na until they scroll down to the part where the other images dey before e load those images. Na lazy loading be this. And where it dey important to use this lazy loading, na say you go help your website speed up. You go help am dey faster to load, cause images dey chop size. The size of your HTML file alone fit no pass small kilobyte, but if you dey add images like 1 megabyte, 2 megabyte images, e go dey harder to load. So if you use plenty images and the browser dey load everything at the same time, e go take time to load your entire website, and you know say people no dey patient nowadays. If they see say your website dey take time to load, they go just comot. Na why e good to use lazy loading, so that if na just 1 or 2 images dey the first part, na im e go quick load chap chap. They go don dey use your website dey go until they reach the part, then e go load that one too. So now we go set our loading attribute to lazy, wey go increase the speed of our website. Now, the next thing we go do now, saying we go move to the figure element. This figure element now for adding caption to our images. So what we go do now, saying we go put this img tag inside the figure element. Then under we go come write our fig caption. That is the caption of our image. You fit write this caption on top of your img tag or under, but this is what I go put am under. So wetin this one go do now, say it go give our readers more context to understand wetin our image dey about. Mind you, this fake caption dey different from the alt, and it dey different from the title. You fit use the same pains describe all of them, or you fit use different things, like your choice. So make sure say anytime when you add image, if you add your image and your SRC, which is the relative path, the source of that image, e go work, but no be the good practice with that. For SEO, and to show your employers and your clients where you go to build websites for, saying you be professional, you need to check to make sure say all these right attributes stay there, including alt, height, width, loading, title, and so on. The next thing where we go take a look at na wetin we dey call semantic tags. I don't mention semantic tags to you briefly before. Semantic tags na tags where we say, you know, they really give any style or direct outline to our program, to our website, but it just they help structure our page, divide her into sections, and also give meaning to the code so that the computer and the browser go understand. If you apply paragraph tag, you get your way you go take write paragraph tag. And if you apply heading, e get ways wey e go take apply headings. But dis semantic tags, what if you get anything wey e dey do to the appearance of your site wey you dey see inside your browser, but e dey give am mumu wey be say e dey help you structure the page and e dey help the computer understand your page more. One example na the nav element wey we don already use. Dis nav element now no be say e give any style or appearance to our page, but e help us categorize our menu under one particular section so that the browser go know say okay, all the code wey dey in here na the navigation. HR na also semantic tag. We use am for the last section to separate our sections. Three main semantic tags wey you go see for all websites na the header, main, and footer. So remember say we get our head and body, and inside the body now we dey always get three other main divisions wey be our semantic tags. The first one na header, the second one na main, and the third one na footer. Make we start with header. The header na where the nav dey always dey. Usually your navigation, even if you get more than one navigation and more than one menu, and if you get some other claims wey dey dey on top your site, na inside the header you dey dey. Now, you fit get more than one header. Maybe you get two navigation and you wan put am under separate header, you fit do am. But after the header, the next thing wey we get na the main. This main na only one you fit get. Your website must not have more than one main. So if you use your main tag, opening and closing, everything wey dey for the main content for the website go dey inside. By main content, I mean the website content will not be header or footer. The last one na footer. Again, you fit get more than one footer, but usually na only one footer dey dey. Now, this our corporate and our back to top, I will add am inside our footer section. If you get plenty links for your footer wey link to other pages for your website, you fit use the nav element. You know say we use our nav element for the header. I wan tell you now say you also fit use the nav element inside footer as long as the element wey dey inside that nav na many. That is, na links wey people fit click to navigate your website, maybe to go other pages or to go your product, your shop, or your external links. As long as na menu, you go put am inside nav and e fit dey your footer. But since we no get any menu for our footer, we go just put this our copyright and our back to top for inside our footer. Now, the next one we go talk about na wetin we dey call area label. If you get more than one nav for your website, you go use wetin we dey call area label. You fit set this area label as primary or secondary to show say, okay, this first nav wey I get, na it be my main. Your main navigation na it be the primary, and this second one wey I get na it be my secondary. Since we no get more than one nav, we no go use area label. Now, the next thing we go talk about na article. You know say before na section we use to separate our website into different sections, but I wan tell you now say article dey more appropriate. But if you use section, nothing do you still gallant. Your website go still run like normal and the browser go still understand your page. But as a matter of convention, na article we dey use group the main parts of our website, specifically the parts wey get different sections inside there. So wetin we go do na say we go change these our sections to article. Now we will get two articles. You know say before we get two sections, now we will get two articles. Then inside our article, you go break them down into sections. So inside this first article now, I will add section to cover our figure and image, and I will add another section for here. Then inside our second article too, I go split that into more sections. Another element wey I wan introduce to you for this lesson na wetin we dey call aside. This aside element na mostly for sidebar. Wetin the sidebar? If you dey navigate some websites, you dey browse, you go see say some dey always get one kind part for the right or the left side wey be say that one just dey aside, e just dey on im own. Na that one we dey call aside. The element wey we dey take dey create aside na the aside element. You go open am like normal with the opening and closing tag, and all your maybe my image or paragraph or anything wey you wan put for your sidebar na inside this aside e go be. Now, aside no necessarily gats be sidebar. You fit get aside for your main part just to signify say okay, wetin dey inside this aside e dey different when it comes to the topic compared to wetin be my main, or e fit be the same topic but I just use this one add separate information. Usually na CSS we take dey move our web page to sidebar, but since we no dey do CSS now, I go just leave this aside inside our normal main part of the website. Now, inside this aside, I go show you more elements wey you fit use. I go show you details and summary. And na this we dey write am. Wetin these details dey do na say e dey tell the browser say okay, this description wey dey inside these details na wetin I wan make you show. But then you go come add arrow wey be say people fit tick to reveal wetin dey under this element. So you go use another P tag under the details. Na there you go write the full description so that when they tick am, the description go show. But if they no tick am, the description no go show. Na how e go show for your website be this. You no see am until we tick these details. You fit use this kind of arrangement for quiz for your website or to show product details wey be say you wan make people click before they fit hear. Now, I wan tell you say e be good for the articles and sections to get headings associated with them. That is, if you open one article tag, under that article tag, you fit get H2, H3 or H4 just to show say okay, na the title, the topic, the heading of wetin this part dey about with this. E dey good, but e no dey compulsory. Again, it depends on wetin your website content dey about. If your website content no need am, then fire, you no need am. But if you need am or if you fit add am, try to dey add am. This one too go make the browser understand wetin your page dey about, wetin your specific articles dey about. Now, two semantic element wey be say we dey use that a lot for our website, but e no really get any semantic meaning. These two elements na div and spa. You see, div no really mean anything, but developers dey use that a lot. In fact, if you watch any tutorial or you check any website, you go see plenty div. Wetin things dey do na say e dey help you divide part of your website into sections, but developers dey use am mostly to apply CSS style to specific parts of their website. And because all these new semantic elements like section, article, and main, they just comot fairly recently. And so programmers wey don start the program since tey before this one comot, they don dey very used to div. So instead of using section, most people go use div. Span na just like div. But whereas we dey use our div to separate element as block element, we dey use our span to separate them as inline elements. Remember, I tell you the difference between inline and block elements before. Block element, like you take the start a new block. That is, those elements could start on their own new space, on their own new paragraph. Like say you type enter. But if you want to change something inside a block element, wey be say you no want make e form e own block. Like say you want add style to specific words inside our paragraph, for instance, na spam you go lose to just make that part e own section. We say you fit use CSS to style am. But we start to dey use CSS for our next tutorial. You go understand this one more. Now, the next thing we will go enter na tables. I sure say you go don see plenty websites we get tables. Even though my CSS, we take the beautify our tables for our websites to make them fine, to give them colors, to give them shape. Still, before we add CSS, we go first use HTML, create the structure of the tables. How we go do am na I go show you now. So the first thing wey I go do na say for our first article, I go add this line break and then I go open this table element. Anytime when you dey create table, the first thing wey you go do na say you will create table element, opening tag table and closing tag table. Now inside this table element, we go open the TR element. The TR element na table row. Na im we take dey create our rows. So the first TR wey you dey get under your table, it just dey signify the first row of your table. Now, may I quick add this TR, and then under the TR, I go open the TD element. Inside this TD element now, I go write the first thing wey go dey inside our table. I go open another TD element, write the second thing. I go open 3 TD elements. I go show you how it could be for our browser. You see how it be. Now, I go add another TR, that is another row. I go just copy all this TR, TD, TD, TD where we get for this up, and we'll copy and down. Then change the words with the inside each of our TD. Now, you go see say you don't add the second row. So it no matter if you get 5 or 50 rows for your website and you want use table. Now like this, you go do am. You could copy this thing 50 times and you go use this TD set details wey go dey inside your table per row. Now, this table no really look like table because again, I tell you say HTML, we just dey use am dey set the structure. We go still need to use CSS beautify am. But again, I don't want to jump into CSS. Do not confuse you. But I will quick copy this code. First time for our CSS, just so you fit see the outline of this table clearly. If you like, use a free copy this code or type Wetin dey on top your screen now. Put them under your CSS file. It go change the look of your table just to make them look a little bit more like the normal table wey you go to see for websites. Now, you should say we don't get our borders and our lines. Now, I fit use this one now take explain more about tables. Again, remember, for tables, the first way you could do that, you go open the table element. The second thing now to open the TR to specify each row. And under the TR, you go get your TD. As you dey see now, I don't create 3 rows and 3 columns for our website. The next thing we'll go do now, I go show you how to add headers to your table. Headers now just the words we go signify within each column of your table they about. So to do that one now, under our table element, open another TR. Now this one they show say this first TR now our new first row instead of the one we will get before. So for our new first row, instead of having TD, we go get TH to show the browser say this one are heading instead of regular description column. And you guys make sure say the number of TH heading where you get it tally with the number of spaces where you don't get for your other TD so that everything will fall under each other. Now, may I add 3 TH to this first row we will just open under our heading. And then I go show you how it go look for our browser. You see say all the heading they in line and it correlates with all the other TDs where we don't add before. Now, how will they take they create tables for HTML be that? Another thing where I want me you keep in mind, man, say you feel use one TD to cover more than one row and more than one column. If you want may your TD or TH cover more than one column, you will use this attribute called span equal to 2. That means say this one could cover 2 spaces be that. And if you want make it cover more than one row, that means say you will use row span equal to 2. Now, another element where I go introduce you to like the caption element. The caption now you take the add description to your table. It just mean like normal caption where you they see for images, we go describe the images. The caption for table go describe within your table they about. And if you add this caption element to your table, just want to say it go automatically cover all your tables. Make I show you how it go look for our browser. Finally, I want to show you the T-head, T-foot, and T-body elements. We would say if you use separate your tables into separate sections, just like we separate our own website into header, main, and footer. Now, with this T-head, you go use them hold the first part of your table, usually the part of say the header and other titles there. Then you will use the T foot as the footer of your table. Now here you fit add maybe summaries or totals if your table they do mathematics. Since our table no really get any need for footer, I will just add small description of wetin our table they do. Then every other part will be your header or your footer. Now it go be the T body, which is the table body. Inside this one now, we go wrap all of this one inside the T body element. Now the main most important parts of tables for HTML be this. Once you don't use HTML specifying your tables, the sections, the headers, and the main parts like this, you can use CSS to the beautify arm. If you use CSS to change the background to blue or white, to change the border, the size, the appearance, and so on. Now, the next thing we will go discuss now forms. Why forms they important? You see, HTML and web development no be just about showing things to your visitors. Most times you go want collect information from them. For this, now forms we dey use. If you want collect information like their contact information, their login details, anything wey you need to collect from your viewers, now through form you go collect am. Now, forms they very easy to understand. But as you dey go, you go dey add more features and more features to your forms. So sometimes it dey look like say it be complex. But if you just calm down, pay attention, dey patient, no rush, you go understand forms for HTML. So wetin you go do now na say we go add another link to our navigation. I will copy this list down and change am to contact, and I will add this contact page. So I go create this new page. Again, you remember how I train you to create new page for HTML. You fit use this opportunity to try create new page for HTML to test your skills. But since me, I no wan waste our time, I will just copy our opening tags and elements from our original page. Then I go edit this information to just change them to reflect our new page. All of this information we do for our old home page, and we just add this new information to change them to fit our new page, which is our contact page. So now we don't get our new page, the contact page ready, we go use and learn forms. Now we go start by creating article. Inside this article, I tell you say it good for articles to get their own headings attached to them so that the browser go know wetin this article they about. So I will use heading 2. Now under the heading 2, I will call use paragraph. This paragraph, I will say feel free to contact me. Now we will start the add our form. To add form for HTML, you go add the form opening and closing tags. Then you go put action. This action now to show the completer where it go set the data where our users fill for the form. After they click submit, now this form attribute, now there we they put our URL of our back end where the computer will send all the details of the form so that the back end go collect the information, save for our database so that we feel access the information to get information about our customers, or B, the users feel use their information log in anytime they want log in back to our website. But since we no get any back end for now, and since this course no dey about back end, I no go put any form URL for our back end for here. We could just move on to show how we dey create the front end of our form. Okay, so after you don't create the form opening and closing tag, and you don't write your form URL where the submit go enter, the next thing wey we go do na we go come dey create the actual label and input. Most of the things wey you go see inside form element for HTML na label and input. So now label na im most people dey write first, but if you like your input first, one thing wey you go know na say label and input dey work together. E dey very important to know say label and input dey work together. So if you write one label followed by input, or if you write one input followed by label, those two input and label na the same thing, but we dey use the label show say the data wey we connect with this input na this label e dey for. So basically label dey show wetin the input dey about. How we go take connect our label and input na through attributes. Label dey get im own attributes and input too dey get im own attribute. One of the most important attribute for label na 4. These 4 attributes na im go associate the label and the input. So we dey use the 4 to write the name of the label. Any name wey you write for inside these 4, you go make am the ID of your input. So now if I do the ID attributes of these inputs, anything wey I set am to, na im go be the 4 of this label. So first, make I use first main as our first input, that is the first information wey we go collect from our users. The input attributes plenty, but let me start with the most important one. The most important ones na type, name, and ID. Now, different inputs dey for HTML, and na type we take dey separate one input type from another. So the first input type wey we go look at na the text input. This text input, e dey collect text information from our users, so e go show as input text. If you get your input type as text, the next attribute na main attribute. This main na the main wey our server go take identify this input. And finally, you get the ID attribute. Now, this ID attribute, I tell you, say must correlate with our label, so that the browser of you knows, okay, this label na for this specific input. Mind you, the name attributes they different from the ID attributes. The main attributes now for the server to know the name of this information will be the collect with this box. The ID attributes now to show say it go match with the label for attributes. Now, if you dey use better code editor like VS Code, if you automatically add these attributes for you, you could just use the shortcut input plus the kind of input we dey collect. For instance, I would use input, so we go just do input semicolon text, then it go automatically add the major attributes, the type, name, and ID attributes. Now, once we get our label and our input, we don't get one entry for our phone be that. Now we fit see how it will show for our browser. Apart from the input attributes wey we don look at, which is the main, the type, and the ID, another input attribute wey we get na the placeholder attribute. The placeholder attributes like it dey tell our users the kind things wey we want make dem put there. The placeholder na just something wey go show to show them an example. Once they begin to the type, this placeholder will come out. Now I will show you the placeholder, how it take they look for our browser. Finally, another thing we will go look at the attributes where we dey call required. These required attributes not be like the other attributes where we say we go put quotes. This one no get any quotes. Now just keyword where you go put. It dey show say wetin dey this input dey required. So you guys if you no put and we not fit submit before. I know say you go don't see plenty of forms for online where we say you want feel something, but if you no feel one thing, it go peg say this thing dey important. You guys fill out or else you no fit submit the form. Now this is required keyword. Now we take the draw. Now when we don't know the most important attributes, we fit create another input. So we will copy the label and the input of this first main wey we do. We go make am the next input, but we go edit am so that this one no go be first main again, e go be last main. Then we go also change the next attributes, the 4 attributes for the label, and then the main attributes, the argue and the placeholder for the input. Now, remember, see, inline elements no dey form their own line, they no dey form their own block. Now, why these two inputs dey side by side? Because both of them na inline elements. Wetin we dey take dey use dey separate them na CSS. We fit use CSS to make them appear on a new line, or we fit just do the smartest thing, which is to use a block element. So this block element go automatically separate them. We no go dey use CSS to separate them. So we go use either paragraph or div. Div na block element, so we go use div. So we go put both of our labels and inputs inside div so that they will date on their own line. Now, may we see am for our website. Okay, now we don't build 2 inputs. When we do another one, we will copy this one like I did before and then change out to input password. Now, you go change the ID, the title, and the 4 and other attributes so they change as number. Then this style, instead of input text, you go be input password. The difference between input text and password, let's say, if you dey write for input text, you go dey see the words and the sentences wey you dey write. But if you dey write for input passwords, you no go see wetin you dey write, so that people no go dey see your password as you dey type am. You go cover up with these thick dots to hide your input. Now, the next one wey we go do, let's say, we go copy again and change again like we dey do before, and then we go change our input to phone number. This phone number go input type, not be phone o. Some people they make the mistake, they go think say na input phone, na input pair. Now, this type pair, if you use that for your browser, you fit not see difference, but if you use them for your phone, it go bring out the number keypad instead of regular ABCD keypad. Now, why sometimes if you go website, you won't press number, automatically go just bring number, you go look say how they take look say na number I won't put. And because you get program well with the right inputs and the right attributes. Now, the next one we're going to look at na number. For this one, we go copy and change as usual, but we go remove this required and placeholder because you know they required for our phone. Now, the type will be number. Wetin be number input? This number input now to make your users they able to choose specific number, and you get where we say this one they show for our browser. You know they show like our input there or our input text. They show as numbers. We say they click arrows to choose the number. This number input to get all attributes. We say others no get. The first one are noon, and the second one max. Me now to show the lowest numbers where your users can choose, and max now to show the highest one where you want make them be able to choose. Then we get the step attribute. This step they show how long or how much the number would increase as they click the arrows to choose. And then we get the value. And this value they show which number would they there when they start to they click. Now, all of these things will make sense once I show you. You see here as we they click the arrow, it they grow by the value where we set for our step. And as you they click, they go up, they go up. You know if you go past our max, and if you click, they go down, they go down. You know if you click past your mean. Now, the next one we go do now, say we go create another label. We go make our favorite fruit, because you want make our users choose their favorite fruit. But instead of input, we go use the tags where we they call select. We go open another div, we go open select, and then we go fill the main and ID attributes. Now, select no be like input. Select gets opening and closing tag, so you can write things for the middle. Now, wetin dey the middle na the option tag opening and closing. We dey tell our users say you guys select among these options. Inside this middle of our select, we go get plenty options we be say our users fit choose from, and the options too go get their own attribute wey be the value of the option. But this value no be the text wey dey the middle. The text wey dey the middle of the opening and closing tag, na thing go be wetin our users go see wey dem go choose from. But the actual value wey go same as the information wey dem choose, na im go dey inside this value attribute. You fit get the same things as your value and the text wey dey the middle of your opening and closing tag, and you fit get different ones. It depends on how you want take code your website. So I will give them different options to choose from as their favorite fruit. I will give them mango option, then I will give them 4 more options: apple, banana, orange, and guava. Then I will add another option, other, for people who say their favorite fruit will be mango, apple, banana, orange, and guava. So now I will show you how it go show for our website. You see say the first option na it be the automatic one where it go choose. Now it will be the one we go show first. But if we change the default, how we go do it? I say we go add new attributes will be selected. These selected attributes now another one maybe say na keyword. So you don't need to write equal to quote quote. No, you go don't like the keyword selected. You go show say now this one we want maybe automatically be selected. They have change them rule, but mine go first show automatically instead of our first one will be the top. Now your selected na just one place with the other. Also, if you get options like this, normal, now only one options now in your viewers and your website visitors fit choose among the options. But if you want me to fit choose more than one, you go guys use another keyword will they call multiple. But this keyword you go put up inside the select opening tag. It will be inside any of the options tag. The next thing where I go do now say I go comment out all of these are select an option code. The reason why I want to do am because say I want show you another way. Well, if you do these options and selections without using this specific approach. Now, by comment out, I mean say I go turn all of this code into comment. Commenting out, they very important for programming because sometimes you go get code for your page where we say you no want make it run, but you also no want delete that from your page. So what you go do now say you go turn man into comment so that you go still did your you still feel look and we still feel read that other people still receive like say la comments, but my code we say you just won't live for there. To comment out for VS Code, you go press Shift Alt and A. You go highlight everything where you want comment out and you go press Shift Alt and A. Of course, if you done manually by writing the syntax of comment where I don't teach you before, but to save yourself the stress of having to write this less than exclamation mark dash dash, you go just highlight everything, press Shift Alt and A, and it will turn everything into comment. Now, after I don't comment out all of these our dig with our select, I go change the information presentation to this quick pair. I will just paste that so that you go save and I will explain everything where I paste. Now, the thing I did and I say I opened paragraph tag. Then inside the paragraph tag, I open label for our input with the 4 for our fruit input. Then under I put our input like text, which I did fruit and main fruit. Then you will see another attribute here will be list attribute. And we'll set them as fruit list. Now this one be linked to our new element here we create where I will introduce to you. This new element with the column data list. This data list now in go get the ID of fruit list. Surely say this input will get list attribute as fruit list. It belongs to this beta list. Like we take bill for our input and label. Our data list ID too guys correlate with this attribute we set for here. So we guys set our ID of this beta list as fruit list. So inside this data list now, like here we go put our options. It's one of the reasons why it do good to use data list instead of the ways where we did do am before. Like say, if you use this input and data list, when you start to the type inside your input, you go to narrow down the option for you. So you go to show your users when they start to the type, you go to show that the options will match within when they type. So you go fix complete time for them. Now, I will comment out this one and uncomment our previous one. You feel leave or if you use both of them, you do free to do what you want choose. Now, to separate our form into separate section, then we go do next. Imagine long, long form for your website. We get different kind of sections. If you put everything together, you go there too clumpy and people will know waiting one part before and waiting the other part therefore. Like why we dey lose one specific tag to separate our form into separate section. This tag with the color field set. I will show you how we take the use field set to separate our form into sections. So I will separate piece parts into section using field set. Now, after you write field set, you go add put it with the call legend. This legend gets opening and closing tag as well. And we take the user as caption. So after you separate your form into sections with field set, you fit tell your readers wetin each section be about by using this legend opening and closing tag. Now we go create break and another field set and legend, and then we go add another input and label where I want show you. This new input where I want show you now input type radio. Now, I go write my first input type radio with the normal attributes where we don't discuss before. Then I go write my label. Then I go copy R and then I go write another one. Now, we will use the same name attributes for all of them. Why? Because if you they use the input type radio, you guys use the same name. If you use different name, that means say your users could fit select more than one option. But with radio buttons, radio inputs, usually we dey want make our users select just one. So wetin we go do like we go use the same name for every two so that once they select one and they want select another, automatically the one wey they select before go disappear. But if you use the same name, the browser go let them select more than one option. Now another input type wey I wan show you now, checkbox. To show you checkbox, we go do am like the one before. I go copy this one down now, but the input type wey we go use, it could be checkbox. Now, make sure say your ID they different. Don't use the same ID everywhere for your phone. Even if no be the same section, even if no be the same input path, make sure say all the IDs really they use they unique. Now, with checkboxes, if we select multiple, because we dey always use ask our readers, okay, what do you like among all these options? And if he likes more than one, so he use more than one option for your checkbox. Now, the last one way I go show you now, text area. I go create break, then I will create another field set and legend. I will call this one send a text message. Then I go add label before I go set on as message. Then I could say write your message. So now instead of input text or all the other inputs we don't use before, we go use text area. This text area they get open and closing tag, and it will be like input wey be say like input attribute type equal to something. No, this one we know they do input or attribute, but they use text area as opening and closing tag. This one to get attribute, so I could say the name, na message, the ID, message, the calls and roles attributes. Now it go show how wide and long the text area could be. The default that Betty and Beg. Now I go add more attributes like placeholder. For our placeholder, I go say type your message. So now once we see am for our browser, you will see say this text area dey take up more text area than our input wey be say na just one line dey fit input am. This text area dey big so that our users fit like long message to us. And you fit make the text area dey even bigger if you increase your calls and rows attributes. Now, I gats tell you say all of these input types wey we don examine for our form no be the only ones wey we get o, but na they be the most common wey be say you go most likely use when you start the web development journey. If you come across another one, you fit learn am o, and e dey good to learn as much as you can, but also if you learn too much, you fit dey forget the important ones. Na why with programming, I tell you, no need to cry. Just understand the reasons why we dey do all of these things. Once you understand the core element of all of these things, it will be easy for you to learn more and learn more as you dey practice. Finally, for our fun section, we go talk about button. Now, button na im we take dey use help our readers submit all of the forms wey we don click. Now, to show you the button element, I go first add break, then I go add this button element. All buttons like input, then say we get attributes. The first and most important attribute na the type. Now this type attribute go tell the browser wetin this button dey for, and the most common button type wey we get na the type submit. Between the opening and closing tags, I go write submit now. Now, after this type submit, we get another button type wey be type reset. I go add this button type too beside our type submit. So first button go be type submit, and the second button go be type reset. Type submit dey automatically submit your form. Once you click am, the browser go know say these people dey submit all the data wey they don write inside this form to the URL wey I tell you say we go put for inside our first action attribute for our form opening tag. But since we no dey do backend, we no go submit to any URL. But if you want clear all the P's wey you don type for all our input for your form, if you wan clear everything at once without having to go pair and delete everything one by one, like this type reset button na you go use. So ma just quick do demonstration, ma I write some things inside our input, and then you go see say when I click this button wey be reset, e go automatically clear everything. Now, I got tell you say for your submit button, you fit also use input wey be type submit instead of using button wey be type submit. But the difference between button of type submit and input of type submit na say input of type submit na only text you fit write on top the button. Meanwhile, if you use button of type submit, you fit use other more direct semantics. So it depends on wetin you wan do, but the most common thing na to use the button of type submit. Thanks, like thing we don cover for here. You don see say forms dey very simple and very interesting, but because say we get different types of all these input as text area and different ways to write the same pill and different ways to submit, sometimes people dey find am complicated. But for real, this thing dey easy. If you find am complicated, you fit tap, go back off, do and again. Write time as I dey write time, or just watch the video again. Try to understand some things wey you no understand. You go see say if you do am once or twice, you sef you go don turn pro for forms. Also, once you start to be work as professional web developer, you go realize say you no go dey need to write forms from scratch. You go dey use plenty libraries and framework wey dem don create for you already. Maybe you go just import to your React project or any other front-end framework wey you could use. Na you go dey take handle your fun. But for now, you don know the basic things about fun. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. You don't learn HTML. You don't learn so many things about HTML. You don't learn about the different tags where we get. You don't learn the attributes. You don't learn how to undo images. You don't learn how to use divs and spans and inline elements and block elements. You don't even learn fonts. Locked in, we say you know sabi about HTML now. You be guru. But after you don't made HTML, what's next? But the questions where people be asked that are a very important question, because with HTML alone, you know if you call yourself web developer. If you call yourself web developer engineering, but your journey is still remain. So what will be the next? The next thing now to practice and maybe even build small websites with just HTML. For my paid course, I get very simple websites you can go build with HTML, just HTML, and the website could still look fine. Get after you do one simple project with HTML, the next thing is to learn CSS. My CSS video, full CSS video, they this page, free of charge. You go feel out learn CSS, and then you will do some projects too with CSS. And then after, you go enter JavaScript. Like JavaScript, you go take, apply nice movements and dynamism to your website so that your website go come alive. I will also get free JavaScript course for this channel for you to watch and understand the basics of all of these programming languages. Once you let HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you self go fit call yourself web developer. Although before you fit start to be work as web developer properly, you need to learn React. React self go dey please YouTube channel. No fear. All of these things are very simple things to learn. You don't learn HTML. So while you know fit learn CSS, while you know fit learn JavaScript, and while you know fit learn React, the journey be start, but you did on the right track. Thank you for your attention to the mapper.